came to New Delhi to see the giant open-air theatres where some of the oldest epic stories in the world are staged. I thought that I would be looking up to heroic Hindu gods, but I soon found myself under the spell of demons. New Delhi has factories for cars, computers and washing machines. But it also has factories for demons. These huge lords aren't gods, they're demons, and each one has a personality and a great story to tell. This one even became a star in a television serial. I had to find out why girls still dream of being captured by demons, and why writers think that demons can teach us a great deal about India's history and the attitude of its people. India is the land of astrology and superstition, and it comes packed with demon stories. Some of the earliest images of demons are found in Hindu temples. These frescoes depict the gods' endless battle to control the demon threat. Men can only look on as hundreds of gods fight the demon menace in the sky above. The earth turns away from the light and into the demon realm. As our senses fade, we need the temple elephant to sniff out those evil spirits. The incense and music can make it feel a bit heady, and people do get possessed. They can even start to stab bits of their bodies before the god. Dr. Krishnan is a psychiatrist. He's had to step in when devotees start to skewer themselves or bash 6-inch nails with their heads.
They will feel as if they are possessed by the goddess or evil spirits, and with their forehead they will just knock a nail on a tree, and that is supposed to cure the conversion people. Actually, hysteria patients will get cured, but the rest, schizophrenia and all other mental disorders, will come to us after that.
These actors are warning people about the danger of demons. The old demon crone has slipped past the temple guard to seduce the green god. She's got to get rid of the hair lice and then disguise herself as a ravishing girl. But she's soon rumbled. The god's got a whiff of her demon breath. He casts her back into her true form and then gives her boobs some major plastic surgery. In most cultures, demons are hideous creatures that have to be sent back to the stinking underworld where they dwell. But I'm not going to chase slimy little black demons. I want to learn about these boys. Great demon lords dressed in all their finery. They stand over 100 feet tall and boast power and sexuality. Their story goes back thousands of years, and I'm going to travel across India to see the power they hold over this mighty nation. I love an ancient story that describes how the gods and demon lords became locked in their endless battle. The action takes place in the sea. Only a drink called Amrit could give the gods immortality. Amrit could only be produced by churning up the ocean. The gods didn't have the strength. They had to call for demon power. But as soon as the Amrit appeared, the gods grabbed it and drank it all themselves. The demons were robbed and are always looking for an opportunity to get their own back.
It is said that Vishnu cheated the demons and gave all the amrits to gods. That is why gods are supposed to be immortal and demons are supposed to be mortal. But unfortunately, two demons, Rahu and Ketu, these people ate some part of this amrit and they became partly immortal. So they are supposed to swallow moon and sun. That is what is called eclipse. And very interestingly, this Rahu and Ketu, when posited near the moon on a astrological chart, are supposed to cause psychotic and neurotic illnesses.
That story may be thousands of years old, but I wanted to see a demon who in the late 1980s became a television star. His series was so popular that viewers would riot and attack electricity stations if the power failed. This television star is the Demon King Ravana. He's got a great palace on the island of Sri Lanka. Ravana is a character from the Ramayana, an old Hindu epic story that Indians still find racy. Beauties collected from all the worlds surrounded him, singing, dancing, ever ready to give him pleasure and service. It then goes on to describe how his wives kiss each other to turn him on. Ravana lusts over Princess Sita and grabs her from her nice husband Rama. The actress Deepika isn't the first woman to fall for a bad boy.
I said that I always want a husband who is a little bit of a Ram and a little bit of a Ravan. Because just plain Ram would be boring and a plain Ravan was bad. So that kind of a thing. A man has two sides, the positive and the negative.
Her capture by the great demon literally stopped India in its tracks.
Then we've heard that during marriage seasons, the invitation cards would have that this timing has changed because Ramayana is going to be featured. And then on Sundays, nobody would come out of the house because they want to watch Ramayana serial. And the trains had changed their timings, to manage the serial. And we were really surprised. I mean, I said, we're shooting for Ramayana, we are the characters and we don't know what's happening.
It's easy to fall under the spell of this demon king, Ravana, especially when huge areas of New Delhi are cleared for hundreds of giant open-air theatres. Every October, Ravana will rise over them, and the gorgeous Sita will become his prisoner. She'll be at his mercy for 10 consecutive nights. It's free, and each theatre pulls in thousands of people.
The whole structure is built up in 1 month. 500 to 600 people work there. For 1 month, we leave all our businesses and spend all our time for this project.
Whenever religion is attacked and evil takes an upper hand, supernatural powers come to help mankind.
Sonia is a young fashion designer who has longed to play Sita and become a slave to the demon king. Her Ravana is Lalit. He soon forgets his day job when the demon testosterone starts to power through his veins. Sonia knows that this story is part of every Hindu's makeup.
It evolved all the emotions and about how our culture started. It shows everything, the devil part as well as the religious part as well as the many things in it.
Ravana and his fellow demons have to be monstrous. They tower over the man in the street. The demon factories work day and night to produce them. Hundreds of huge demon effigies will dominate the city. Politicians and movie stars are drawn to them. I was curious to see that some of the most renowned Hindu Brahmin priests came here. But it seems that the great demon Ravana was once one of them, and he's here to show what happens if they become corrupt. 87% of Indians are Hindus, but no matter how much he prays, the average Hindu can't become a Brahmin. He has to be born into a family of this superior class. This puppet shows Ravana as a lofty Brahmin, but with a turn of the head, he shows his demon side. The philosopher Dr. Mahatma Gandhi says Ravana is a warning to all Brahmins.
Yes, he is a fallen Brahmana. A seeker of the vast is what a Brahmana is, not a seeker of power. It is a very subtle thing. You may be top of the social hierarchy, you may be the most learned person. It's not going to make you a friend of all creation. No. and the divine may need to come and give you battle.
As a Brahmin, Ravana worshipped Lord Shiva. A Shiva temple always has a bull to symbolise the god's potent sexuality, and no woman ever complained about Shiva's lovemaking. Inside his temple, we can see him exploding with passion and fury. Ravana was such an ardent devotee that this mighty god rewarded him with power and weapons of his own. So much power that he rebelled. He's like Lucifer. He's challenged the gods and been booted out of heaven, and he's taken to roaming the earth. The power has literally gone to his head. He's such a complex character that he's now got 10 of them.
I remember trying to draw the figure of Ravana, 10 heads, and I found there were 5 on one side, 4 on the other, 1 in the middle, very unbalanced. So it suggests that any sort of caricature of the divine, let's call it evil, would suffer from a lack of balance. That's good news. So it's possible for it to fall under the weight of its own imbalance. Perhaps a bit like Hitler, it would collapse under the weight of its own disharmony.
Some versions of the Ramayana tell how Ravana grabs all the precious jewels and beautiful women he can get his hands on. Those gods who cross him are captured, and he makes them his servants. This angelic god would be a real prize for Ravana, but this is Lord Vishnu, the protector of the earth. He can wield immense power, and he carries a discus to sever the heads of demons. The other gods may have screwed up and given Ravana his power, but Vishnu won't stand for a demon running riot. Vishnu never plays by the rules. He's a master of disguise. Here he is as a man-lion, ripping the guts out of a demon. The demon king does not fear human beings, so the cagey Vishnu comes as Prince Rama. He'll beat Ravana by deception. The story of Rama has had tremendous influence on India. Mahatma Gandhi loved him, and when he was told of the threat on his life, asked only to die with the words of Rama on his lips. In the end it will be as Rama commands me. I dance as he pulls the strings. The stage is set for Rama to make his appearance before a massive audience in New Delhi. How can a poor actor live up to the image of the ideal man-god and face the giant demon?
I am professional, but when I do the Rama's role, I do with my faith in Rama's. Because I believe in Rama's.
In his human form, Rama is considered to be benevolent and bestow prosperity on his devotees. He learns how to become a mighty warrior, unsurpassed with bow and arrow.
You can say it is a lengthy role, but not a very difficult if you believe in a Ram. If you believe in Ram, there is nothing impossible and nothing is tough.
Ravana does not fear men, but is this Rama a sneaky god in disguise?
Some think of Rama as having been born indestructible, which is not my favourite view. The other view is that he was born human being, like Christ is both divine and human.
Mukti mein, mukti, mukti.
Aaron Kukreja writes plays about tyrants. He loves to see what motivates them. His play about Ravana's conflict with Rama looks at things from the demon's point of view.
So that's what Ravana says, that you belong to the family of hunters. You were never a lover like me. I was always a lover. I fell in love with Sita. I was a human being. You were God. You wanted to hunt people. fine, hunt me. For you, it's not humanity which is more important, blood is important always. So you were always a hunter, there was always a dangerous hunter within you.
Just like the story of Helen of Troy, the two sides are about to go to war over a woman.
In my place, Ravana is facing a dilemma of either go to war with Rama or have a treaty of peace and give back Sita. But before he does that, he has a conference with his 10 heads. The first head, which is Gyan, which means knowledge, he advises Ravana to have truth.
The second head was his ego. You, unequaled warrior, what need you for another's advice? I am lust. In you I lit the flame, a longing for Sita.
Why should Ravana fear? He's got his island fortress and great demon siblings to back him up.
There is a brother of Ravana, this demon king. He sleeps most of the time. Then he gets up, overreacts, and that sort of thing has happened to various countries. And we've narrowly escaped the consequences of that, like Britain during the war, waited far too long, I think, till Hitler to stop all this nonsense, narrowly escaped. Kumbhakarna wakes up too late when the war has already started. He should have been awake. He should have told his covetous brother, stop this nonsense, make peace with the forest, make peace with God and with human beings. Just do that, it's too late.
They try everything to get Kumbhakarna up for battle. They even run elephants over him. And there's a problem mobilizing another demon brother.
There's a third brother, Vibhishana. He's the one who's always talking about how important it is not to make war, to make peace, and not to steal. But he never really has the guts to confront his more powerful brother.
But who can Rama call on to fight on his side? Luckily, there is one bunch who really have it in for Ravana, because he's ripped up their forest to get more gems, and they're ready to fight back, tooth and nail. Monkeys are found everywhere. People share the streets and temples with them. They even break the phone lines to the Prime Minister's house and snatch lunches from the civil servants in the grounds of the Parliament building. But they'll die in droves fighting the demon Ravana. The most heroic is Hanuman, and everyone loves this great white monkey.
The Ramayana, it goes against what might be called a superficial reading of the Darwinian theory. No, there isn't a linear sort of advance towards human life. Everything is, in its essence, perfect, including non-human life, like monkeys and so on. So man hasn't evolved from monkeys, but coexists with monkeys. Wonderful, playful creatures who understand the divine much better than human beings do, who are willing to be part of the agenda of God, so to speak, as nature is.
So Rama's dirty dozen are a bunch of monkeys. How are they going to attack the great demon fortress on Sri Lanka? Children love this bit. This is where Hanuman starts to taunt the demons. They are huge, but he can grow bigger. He even builds a bridge across the sea to start the invasion. The demons then set fire to his tail, so he uses it to torch their palace. The battle never seems to end. The demons use illusion, and Rama comes back from the dead to fight on. Tens of thousands flock to the giant theatres to see the monkeys and demons bash each other up. and people love the battle on television. Ravana's brothers are all dead. He's run out of tricks, but will he surrender? The TV producer had chosen a stage actor, Aravind Trivedi, to play Ravana.
He could not die like a coward and kneel down. That was his greatness. And actually, the day he died, the village in Gujarat to which that Aravind Trivedi belonged, they did not eat food. If somebody dies in your village, you don't eat food. So I am happy that that character also got the proper casing, proper platform which it deserved.
But it is still stalemate in their one-on-one duel. In the end, the gods cheat and give him some kind of nuclear weapon to kill the proud demon. The huge body of Ravana is hauled up onto the funeral pyre. He may have become a demon, but he was once a Brahmin and must be given the proper final rights of that status. It's going to be some cremation. Ravana and his brothers are packed with straw and black powder, and they stand on their funeral pyres like the three crosses on Calvary. Their burning eyes cast a final spell over the city. But this is what the crowd have waited 10 long nights for. The lazy Kumbhakarna gets to go first. All the work that was put into these beautiful effigies is destroyed in seconds. Hundreds of Ravanas and his brothers blow up one by one all over the city. The gods cheated to destroy Ravana, so many feel he will now go to join the gods. Fire frees Hindus from this existence and allows them to be reborn.
The human body does explode when it's cremated. There are those sounds but that can be seen as the breaking open of the prison of ignorance in which we live and the liberation of spirit. That would be a good way of understanding the destruction of Ravana. We used to know all these things in India through storytelling. We think now increasingly in India that Ravana is that foe out there who is destroyed in this way. Not the ego, the prison of the ego everywhere, which has to explode so that we can be free.
Ravana is destroyed in Delhi, but in the south he can be a hero, and Rama becomes the villain for attacking Sri Lanka. Other demons are also honoured in the south. There is a beautiful rock carving near Chennai of the buffalo demon. Like Ravana, he was of noble birth, and a great sage gave him the strength of the buffalo to wage war on the gods and shock them out of their complacency. Over in Mysore, he's shown in his noble pose. His statue celebrates the fact that the city was named after him. So gods and demons do not always represent good and evil, black and white. And I have seen gods depicted in terrible forms killing noble-looking demons. I've heard how the gods cheat to win battles and to get immortality. My psychiatrist friend Dr. Krishnan sees that many of the gods have far more dangerous hang-ups than any demon.
If we think from a psychiatric point of view, we can say that they are having psychiatric disorders. Maybe Ganapati, he has a disfigurement of nose and he is supposed to be over concerned about it for some time, that we call dysmorphophobia. Shiva, he lives in a graveyard, applies the ash on the whole body He carries snake on his body, one on the neck, one on the head. Almost all the schizophrenics, they carry things from here and there. They apply so many dirty things on their body.
In contrast, Ravana is always dressed like a lord. He's no black-faced demon with fangs. His pale complexion symbolises that he is a Brahmin of the Aryan race. Perhaps his story tells us how different racial groups formed India. The native people were the Dravidians, a dark-skinned people who were pushed into the south by the Aryan tribes from Persia a few thousand years ago. As they broke through the ice curtain into this fertile land, the Aryans would have carried their conquering gods with them. They wrote the stories of their gods doing battle with the demons.
There is a view that it's the story of the Aryan conquest of India, and that Ravana represents the aboriginal peoples of India, and Rama is the story of the Aryans pushing southwards.
The more I look into these demon stories, the more I see that they may be the victor's version of the historical record. The demon king may have been a god of the conquered people, and the victors demonized him. Now he can represent the underdog and the dispossessed. There will soon be more Indians than Chinese on our planet. The economy is booming. Everyone's saving for a mobile phone, a television, a car. But India is still a very spiritual society, and everyone's into astrology. The Earth's shadow has taken a bite out of the moon, and as I stand here on the most southern tip of India, I can sense that men are beginning to feel the power of Rahu and Ketu in their charts. Those are the two demons who did taste the Amrit, and perhaps their time has come. The demons may be ready to challenge for the earth once again.